uncovered several dishes, arranging them atop the tablecloth. "Appalling," he muttered. "What is it now?" Hadrian said, looking up from his paper. "The innkeeper's wife had nary a roasted chicken nor even a beefsteak to offer. In all my years I've never had to serve the Duke of Clayton's slops fit for a pig's trough." Allured by a delectable aroma, Hadrian arose to take his seat at the table. He glanced down at the bowl containing chunks of potatoes and meat in thick brown gravy. The fragrant wisps of steam made his stomach growl. "They must be pampered pigs," he jested. "Bah! This is hardly the sort of inn suitable to one of your Grace's stature. The servants here are slipshod, and the other guests might charitably be described as riffraff. Had you seen fit to heed the Duchess's wishes and remain in London, my mother had no say in the matter. One cannot dispute your Grace's authority as head of the family, yet if I may be permitted to point out, the Duchess only desires what is best for you." Sampling the tasty mutton stew, Hadrian reflected that his mother's idea of best was derived from the silly romantic novels that she liked to read. She had reacted to the news of his marriage plans with pouting and pleading, accusing him of scorning love, of being cold-blooded like his father, and had even lapsed into a bout of weeping. The tears had almost been his undoing. He disliked having to wound her tender heart, but it had been necessary to speak firmly in order to convince her that his decision to wed Lady Ellen was final, now though it seemed she had gone behind his back to recruit Chumley as her advocate. The hot, savoury meal put Hadrian into a mellower mood. Eyeing the valet's puckered brow, he said, "Speak up, man. Vent your spleen and be done with it. I won't have you suffering a bout of dyspepsia on my account." Chumley huffed out a breath. "It is merely that I find myself in agreement with the Duchess. She believes your Grace needn't feel bound by that long-ago contract between your father and his cousin Lord Godwin. Dynastic marriages may have once been common practice, but they are not in vogue in these modern times." "They are far more practical, though. It saves a man the trouble of wading through a sea of matchmaking mammas and their simpering daughters." The old retainer dolefully shook his head as he set out a plate of bread and cheese. "Be that as it may, the betrothal plan was agreed upon when you and Lord Godwin's eldest daughter were mere babes in arms. When Lady Audrey eloped with that preacher a decade ago and fled the country, it nullified any obligation on your part." Hadrian had suffered no regrets over the loss of a marriage to his second cousin Audrey. Though pretty, she'd been sober-minded, her nose either in a prayer book or in his face, scolding him for his lack of spiritual pursuits. At least she'd never known of the discreet liaisons that had occupied his time when he wasn't studying at Oxford. At 18, he'd not been ready to don the leg shackle. Now was another matter. He had sown his wild oats and had gained the maturity to settle down. Hadrian tore off a hunk of bread and buttered it. "One would think you'd be pleased that I would honour my father's wishes. Anyway, it's time I set up my nursery, and Lady Ellen will suffice to be my wife as much as any other well-bred girl." "Then there was no need for this long journey," Chumley said mulishly. "Lord and Lady Godwin will be bringing their daughter to London for the season. There will be time a-plenty to court her." "Ah, but it's better for the courtship to take place away from the prying eyes of gossips. Having never been in society, Lady Ellen may feel nervous, especially as we've not seen one another since she was 12. The valet refilled Hadrian's goblet. "Your mother fears the girl still has chalk dust from the schoolroom on her fingers. She can hardly be prepared to step